¿Qué pasa, campeones? Campeones! Welcome to the Churros y Tácticas Podcast. It is Tuesday. It is the 11th of July. Kiyan has got a water problem, folks. He's chugging it down by the liters. Kiyan, you gotta quit that stuff. Put it to the side, man. You got problems, man. How many liters you drinking a day?
I'm on like my fourth bottle, bro.
Yeah, get the flick. Yeah.
Need to get my hit. Actually, my doctor told me I have low blood pressure. So she told me to start drinking more water. I'm dehydrated. So hence I'm at 2 liters already.
2 more to go. 2 down, 2 more to go. Well, surely when you work out, you drink a lot more. You hydrate yourself more. No? I mean,
yeah, I mean, like I drink a lot of club soda, carbonated water, Perrier, San Pellegrino, and I just kind of sip on it throughout the day. I love the fizz, I love the fizzle.
So good. Yes.
But as you know, I'm a huge fan of Vichy Catalan. I like the little salty taste to it. I love that. But anyways, it's now delicious. I'm making a more concerted effort to just hit a certain threshold of water every day minimum.
Yeah, me too. I've been pretty conscious of my water intake, and nowadays with this heat, like the mid-high 30s here, it's inevitable and it's necessary. And in the mornings, like when I do my workout sessions, these HIIT sessions, it gets so hot. As I've mentioned several times on a podcast, we live in the attic, right, in the attico. And it gets so boiling hot. Like the amount of water that I shed is insane. You can literally just grab my shirt entirely and my shorts and like drain the sweat out of it. The amount of water I lose, it's around, like if in the winter, it's around, I'll shed like half a kilo, let's say, of water. Now it's like almost like 700-800 grams per hit sesh, which is why I've got these guns.
Be careful, man. I don't think that we can put that on YouTube.
They're not ready.
I don't know if guns are legal on YouTube. Are they? You can probably find it on YouTube.
If you're Ja Morant, then you don't want to do it.
You probably don't want to do it if you're anyone, but especially if you're a high-profile athlete with
such as myself.
Yes. Luckily, you don't no longer work for Barca, so you can basically just whip it out if you want. Whip out all the guns. There are no repercussions, Diego. You're free man. You could talk about all of the Barca secrets, everything. We haven't gotten to that. You're officially not with Barcelona anymore, so we can start spilling the beans a little bit. What happened, Diego, on that day?
Beans on this show.
Well, the patrons already get all the juice, so
yes, we leave that for our beloved patrons. But so hey, buddy, good to talk to you again. Last time we spoke, of course, we hit our listeners with the old 1-2, the back-to-back sessions, because we hadn't recorded during the week. So here we are, as per usual, on a Monday, Tuesday. It is the 11th of July, and guess what, Kiyan? Good news.
Yes.
We're back, baby. The motors are slowly but surely heating up already again. The players have been called back from their lavish holidays, from their yachts in Ibiza and wherever else on the Côte d'Azur or the Balearic Islands, Formentera. And they are back in training. Barca are back. Madrid are back. La Liga teams are back. And that's all, folks. We hope you enjoyed it.
This is a slow one. It's funny, like seeing, when all the players come back for their training sessions, as was the case yesterday, I kind of have mixed feelings. My first initial thought is not excitement. It's already. This is already we're talking about next season. What happened to it's over? It's the off season's over. The off season didn't exist really. We had international break. We had a couple transfers, and then bang, back to training. Everyone's back. My second thought is, oh well, it's kind of cool to see our new signings, Arda Güler and Jude Bellingham, wearing Real Madrid jerseys. That's cool. You know, a couple of other names like Brahim Diaz, Fran Garcia. Who did you guys have? I mean, you guys don't. So let me ask you this: what do you sense when you see Barca come back to training with not like much of a revamped squad? Do you feel FOMO? Do you feel
fear of missing out,
apathy? Like, or do you feel excitement? What do you feel?
Well, when there's not a lot of movement, when you know that there's still so much homework left to be done in terms of players exiting, leaving the club, you know, you feel, I don't know if FOMO is the right term. I would use a word maybe like, well, I get what you're saying, like fear of missing out. I mean, because
FOMO is like looking over at like the Real Madrid universe and they're like, oh, check out Bellingham in the Real Madrid kit. Looks great.
I see. On that sense. Well, yeah, sure. I mean, of course, the big what excites everybody always during the summer months is, of course, the transfers and seeing the new faces wear the new respective jerseys. And Bellingham and Arda have been flashing, showing off their new kits with their new teams, and it's, you know, rejuvenated blood and hope pumped into Los Blancos in their case, and you know, rightfully so, of course, because your season has been a disaster last season. So you know, you guys have to make amends, strengthen the squad so you guys can compete with the best once again, and that starts by trying to beat Barça from being repeat champions of La Liga, which is of course our focus, as well as that of competing deep into the latter stages of the Champions League. And for that to happen, Kiyan, yes, of course, there's still work to be done, both in terms of players coming as well and players leaving. I think the squad right now is 27, 28 players deep for Xavi. I think that's accurate. And, you know, in our case as well, we, of course, excited with Gundogan joining the squad, Inigo, and the star signing, one of the star signings of the summer with permission of Gundogan, I would say, is Vitor Roque, of course. He has now been made official. Is that true?
Yeah, it
I mean,
this is what happens when you leave Barca. All of a sudden, you stop reading the news. You don't know what's going on. Who do we sign? It is official now.
Okay.
So did my question about him was that, you know, he, unlike Endrick, he is at the age that he's allowed to come over to Europe and actually work legally, which is not the case for Endrick for another couple of years. Maybe it's not official.
I don't know if it is, Kiyan.
Maybe it's not official.
I don't think it is. It is not 100% official.
What happens, as everyone knows, what happens when we make a mistake on the Churros y Tácticas podcast? Do we edit it? No. We say churros.
That's right. That's exactly right.
I remember like a couple days ago, and this is, of course, you and I have already discussed the whole fiasco with Atletico already, like putting out statements and putting out ultimatums to Barcelona saying it's not official yet. You got to do this, do that, sign papers. And so we only discussed that aspect. But for some reason, in the last couple of days, I thought I saw official word. Or maybe it was just a really concrete report saying that, okay, Barcelona's finally going to finalize this. And maybe that's why I thought it was official.
That's what I understood. So I think like basically it is all done in terms of agreed, terms agreed, price, installments, 30 up front, and I think it was another 20 something in variables, if I'm not mistaken. but it's not been officially announced yet. But I mean, we can now start talking about that this is happening. So yes, Vitor Roque will form part of Football Club Barcelona as of January of 2024. And I don't know, have you been checking him out? Do you like him? His idols are Neymar and Cristiano. I've been certainly looking into him a little bit more because, what I like about the signing of Vitor Roque is, one, it's somewhat flown under the radar, meaning that, this is not the teenager that was in the mouths of everybody, of all the big clubs, was of course Enrique at the time, and it was the buzz, the hot topic at that time. He was the hot buzz. Can you say that? Everybody was buzzing for him.
Why not?
And so when Madrid signed him, sort of a big deal I felt was made at the time, and rightfully so, given how young he was and how talented, and everybody had such high praise over Enrique, and you look at the highlights and stuff. Whereas like Vitor Roque, I think doesn't have that hype and necessarily pressure that comes along with that as well. The fact that he really made it a point to sign for Barca makes culés excited as well, or me in particular, let's say, because we know he had better offers from the Premier League, where he could have earned 3 times as much. Even it was reported that even PSG tried to snatch him up as well with a better offer. So the fact that he did choose to come to Barca is a very good sign. And the reason I bring it up, and I'm saying these things, is normally when Brazilians, sort of these star Brazilian signings, join Barca, there's all this expectation. There's all this circus around these players arriving. A circus in a good way, mind you, because I remember as clear as day when Ronaldinho, Neymar arrived. I remember players like Romario, Ronaldo, and Rivaldo playing for Barca, of course. The most vivid memory I have would be more Rivaldo joining Barca, because I remember that happening it was quite nasty actually. It happened on the very last day of the transfer market, where Barca basically bought him out. He was playing for Deportivo La Coruña at the time. We had just lost Ronaldo Nazario and had to make up for that loss, of course, and kind of did a dirty one on Depor by taking away their star player Rivaldo on their very last day of the transfer market by
Some things never change, man.
And his arrival was
decades later. You did Leganes dirty. Braithwaite.
Right. Good. Okay. Let's talk about what Madrid's doing dirty in a minute. Okay.
Impossible.
So then he arrived, and it was hectic. It was so sudden. And then all of a sudden he was playing in a Barca shirt and lighting up the field. I mean, he was incredibly good and really exceeded at least my expectations, because I didn't think that the boots of a Ronaldo could be filled that quickly. Obviously when Ronaldo Nazario arrived at the club, I mean, it was like Diego Maradona arriving to not, I mean, okay, fine, it's an exaggeration, but it was like Diego Maradona arriving to Barca. There was so much expectation, not something that I witnessed, but that I've seen on documentaries. In Ronaldo's case, is particularly the fact that he came from Holland to Barca. The same with Romario, of course. Both of these players came from PSV to Holland. So it was reported in the news in Holland and then here again, and there was a lot of excitement. With Vitor Roque, it is not there, that excitement, if you will. I think fans are excited, but the expectation isn't as hyped as those players that I was talking about before. And of course, including Ronaldinho and Neymar, when they arrived, it was like, wow, I mean, we have these amazing Brazilians that really did very, 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 very well. So I'm excited for Vitor Roque, because it's a different type of Brazilian player that we are signing in a crucial position where legends have played before him in the front line, in a number 9, Ronaldo Nazario to begin with. And, I just don't know so much about him. So I hope that he will exceed my expectations, all of the Barca fans' expectations, by obviously being successful and scoring lots of goals. Again, I find it very difficult to compare him with the other players Brazilian players that have played for Barca in the past, because the sense I get is that he's very different from those players. He's not necessarily a creative, a contributor, a building up in the attack. He's much more of a finisher, much more of a player with a one-touch goal type of ability. Plays in a small area in the box, trying to find his way to be in the right position at the right time to score a goal. So, what to expect? I mean, I don't know. I hope good things. Knowing, of course, that he's very young, knowing that this is his first experience outside of the Brazilian league and South America, Brazil, coming to Europe, come to a big club with big pressure, big expectations, playing in a very key role, where, of course, we still have Robert Lewandowski, who I know undoubtedly will be a good role model for this youngster. And again, so far the impression is good given his attitude, because he's giving up a lot of money to be here at Barca and hopefully make history.
Well, the thing with him is that, like many past young stars coming out of Brazil,
is he a star though? Is my question. You know what I mean? Like, is he? Can we put him up there already? Star status?
Not within the context of Europe, but in the context of his current situation in the Brazilian league. What typically happens, I find, with young players in Brazil who are swooped up by the big clubs in Europe, they typically have one thing in common, and that is they're ahead of their age group. They're doing things to defenders who are 10 years older than them and just humiliate them. This was the case with Vinicius. This was the case with Rodrygo. This was the case with Neymar. I don't know what happens with Vitor Roque, of course, because Europe is a different beast. One thing that is true about La Liga specifically is that
favors them.
Well, I'm not even thinking about that. I'm thinking tactically. One thing that's different about La Liga specifically is that there's much less space in Brazil. Especially in modern football, La Liga, there's a lot of teams in Spain who go in defensive blocks and they take away space. I just remember also speaking a lot about this because when I was writing a scouting report on Rodrygo, when we signed him a few years ago, was that everything you watch with Rodrygo in Brazil was he's just cooking defenders, but there's so much space. Like, all he has to do is drop his shoulder, beat one or two, and he's like on a breakaway.
Right.
And that's obviously a different thing in La Liga. It's so rare that you'll get that unless you're playing a team that's bringing the line high and giving you that space, which is just rare. So seeing how he adapts to that will be interesting. And then, of course, like, how much is he going to play next season? You guys are not... Is it fair to say you guys are not short on wingers and attackers? And then there's also the Lewandowski factor up front. Like, where do you envision him slotting in?
Yeah, well, definitely at the number 9.
Yeah.
But, he'll be rotating with Robert, of course.
So do you think he'll get any playing time on the wings at all, or is it just up top?
It would surprise me. Yeah. It would surprise me greatly because, as you said, right now we're quite deep there. From Dembus, Rafinha, Ansu, Ferran.
Well, he can play on the wings, and so that's why that versatility will work in his favor. So, like, if you have a situation where Ansu's injured and maybe you only have one of Dembus or Rafinha, like, he can fill in. That'll work to his favor. So it doesn't have to be only up top. So, like, on the surface, it's like, okay, well, there's quite a few players in attack, but I think actually in his case, there's enough that I think you can find for him with Lewandowski being older, needing to be rotated, and also the injury history of Ansu, the injury history of Dembouz. There's enough playing time there for him, I think.
I think so. I think so. You know, we'll have to be patient. And that's exactly the point that I was trying to illustrate in kind of that opening monologue, I guess, is that now we have a Brazilian player arriving for a key position, but he doesn't have the hype or the fanfare yet upon his arrival. So it's kind of like, what are we supposed to expect? Yes, we're excited. We're happy that he chose to play for Barca. But we can't expect him to be our starting number 9, banging in 34, 40 goals in a season, Nazario style, like the clips that you sent me over Instagram. Our little closet culé was sending me Barca clips, folks. That's right.
I need to start sending you the Real Madrid highlight versions of Ronaldo Nazario.
Oh my God. I remember them vividly. Don't worry.
There's so many to name, bro. There's so many. I don't know. I'd have to put out a compilation. At Barca, you only have one season. And it's always from that one game against Compostela. Where he does the thing where he splits two defenders.
Split the defenders. He split the defenders in the great game against Sevilla also. There's tons of footage.
True.
There's goals galore. Goals galore. So, what else, my friend? Vitor Roque, you don't know anything about this guy neither, do you? What I'm asking you for.
Basically what I said.
Right.
Can play on the wings.
Well, that
can play up top.
Okay. I mean, we'll see. Really,
currently second in the league in goals.
Wow, for that, and that's for a team that's sitting in like 8th or 9th, right?
I thought they were doing well. Sorry, I was gonna say second in the league in goals, and his also second in the league in goals and assists. Of course, that's only through it's 13 games, 7 goals, 2 assists. He's outperforming his XG. And where are they in the table? I know Endrick's team is second. So 11th.
Paranaense. They are
Atletico is 11th.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what I know about him. That's the extent. And what we'll find out about him is really next season. How it'll translate, how much playing time he'll get. And of course, if he doesn't get that much playing time, it's not a disaster. He's so young. This is a marathon and one for the future. This is great. I mean, I forget who it was that was complaining about it. I was speaking to one of my Kool-Aid friends. I don't know if it was you or somebody else.
No, I wouldn't have been complaining.
You don't even know what I'm about to say. What I'm about to say is
complaining about.
No, it was a complaint about how Barca have signed so many players over the age of 30 in the past.
Oh, you're thinking of Ronald Koeman. He said that.
Did he say that?
One of your Kool-Aid friends, yes.
He is one of my Kool-Aid friends.
He said that a couple of days ago.
Are on a mission to drag your club down.
Koeman, man, every time this man opens his mouth, he really is ruining his idol status, my childhood idol status that I have for him, because every time he's here and the journalists get a mic in his face and they just love to set him up with these questions where he's like taking dig after dig at La Porta, Barca, the situation, the play. Fine. What his complaint is that Gundogan is a good player. He's a nice player, but it's better to sign players who are 22 years old instead of 32 years old. It's such a shitty criticism because, number one, we are signing young talent. We were just talking about one for the past 20 minutes, Vitor Roque. 2, we didn't sign Gudjonsen. We didn't sign Inigo Martinez. They came for free. They came willingly. So it's not like we spend money trying to get these players. We're getting incredible football talent that is very useful, very, very beneficial for a team that lost their three captains, three captains, Gerard Piqué, Busquets, and Jordi Alba. Rejuvenated, experienced players. I say rejuvenated, despite the fact that they're in their 30s, just because they are coming from different teams, Gundogan, triple champion, captain of the most successful team in the world right now. Is going to join Barca. Fantastic young team full of young champions as well. Inigo Martinez joining in on the fun. Will be very competitive in that back line as well. So, it's great to add talent in those positions as well and deepen that squad from a defensive perspective. What are you complaining about, man? Like I think honestly, and it's not because I'm a Laportista and defending Laporta here and I'm on a mission to, counter anything that Koeman or people like him say, but I don't understand the criticism that these directors, this group of this board, this current administration is getting most of the time. I really don't. Can it be better? Okay, fine. Let's nitpick. I don't mind being critical, and I'm always being critical when I have to be, and where appropriate. I would like to believe, but in this case, it's like, what are you complaining about, dude? This is a team that's under construction still, like dealing with many handicaps. And you see the lies that are being printed as well. They're saying like Barca are going to pay for Vitor Roque something like 82 million in total or something ridiculous. That's false. I mean, that is actually genuinely fake news. With the add-ons, they're saying like, now, mind you, here's where I could push back and throw some shade, a bit of criticism, and say there could be more transparency so that we actually know what those variables are made up of, right? If they're difficult to achieve, if they're hard, if they're easy to achieve, if they're easy achievable, then let's talk, Then let's talk. Okay, is it going to be in the end those reported 64 million, which I think could be the total, around the 60, the low 60 million ballpark figure roughly? What does it depend on? I think that there's another 5 in variable if he ends up in the top 3 for the Balón de Oro award, in which case I'm like, great. If he finishes up in the top 3 for the runner, in the race for the Balón de Oro, we're laughing at Can Barça. It means that he's a superstar, and we've paid 30 million for him.
I mean, right. The whole point of a variable is that the club actually hopes that those variables will be paid, because that means it's a good thing for them. It means that that's exactly what they hope they sign. This reminds me, by the way, speaking of false figures and stuff, after our last podcast, you convinced me that this Arda Güler fathers.
I'm happy you bring it up.
I haven't seen any confirmation.
I have proof right in front of me. I'm happy you bring it up because
screen share.
Screen share. Okay.
Do you have that power?
Let me see.
I fixed it. All participants can share.
Okay, great. So, hold on. Optimize. Why are all these exclamation marks? What do I need to close the porn tabs or what? What's going on here?
I have no idea what you're talking about. Also, what is that? Is that
I said share screen, and I'm getting all these alerts, as in exclamation marks, saying desktop 1. Yeah, desktop. Just share it. Whatever. Are you seeing anything?
No. While you do that, you can send me the link and I can share it too if you want.
Okay, let's do that.
While you do that, there was something else you said in there that I wanted to comment on.
Okay.
Now I don't remember what it was. Had something to do with Koeman that I was like, oh yeah.
Your buddy.
I don't know. But I guess I will say, like, a link from Sport. Here we come on. At least give me a link from,
dude. As if Marca
reputable.
Or us. Stop. As if you need to be open. Like the fine folks at Sport don't only come up with crap. And plus this is being reported out of Turkey. So so basically
but
they're saying,
just remember the way you framed it yesterday was like, first it was official, but from not yesterday, last podcast was said. First it was officially confirmed by Fenerbahce. Then you're like, no, it was Fabrizio Romano. And then I went and checked after, there was neither of those two things. So now it's sport. Next thing you know, the source is going to be
Stop
you.
it. You can
and then
deny
after that,
whatever
it's
you
be
want.
Like the butcher on your street.
This is being reported by, Fabrizio wouldn't report it if it's not from a reliable source. He is a top professional. Are you doubting the professionalism of a Fabrizio Romano?
Well, that's my point. I didn't see Fabrizio report it.
Well, he did. He tweeted it.
See, that's what I wanted to see. I didn't see it.
Oh, hold on.
Right,
let me summarize this. So in Turkey, they're not happy with the the people surrounding the Turkish superstar, because it turns out they're reporting that the parents are actually going to pocket more money than the club itself, Fenerbahce. It seems it would appear that the merengue club, Los Blancos, also known as Heamaji on this podcast, are paying a total of 23 million for the young Pearl to the parents as a signing bonus. 23 million. Okay. Now, taking into account that the club agreed for 20 million plus 10 in variable to Fenerbahce, even though his buyout clause was 17.5 million, turns out that yes, the Fenerbahce club are annoyed with the entourage of Arda Güler, because they are going to pocket 23 million.
We got it. We got the numbers that are listed in the article.
Okay.
But in this article from Sport, they're just citing their own journalists, Tony Juan Martí.
Do not doubt Tony Juan Martí is a very reputable journalist.
Oh, forgive me for doubting a journalist. I'm so sorry, because they get everything.
Are you
never
doubting
make anything up?
Are you doubting our friends from the Siempre Positivo pod? They do fine work. Sam Marsden, all the guys, Rick, Tony,
Hats
ESPN.
Off, boys. Hats off,
Hats
guys.
off.
Great
Hats
work.
off for the information.
All right, thank you.
Tony Juan Martí.
I believe everything blindly.
I'm going to get you on Churros so you can come and talk to this man right here sitting to the left of me, who is in constant denial.
Question everything, man.
Talking to a brick wall.
Question everything. But this is also my fault, because I know this. I know that sometimes you try to trick me on the podcast and you bring up these things, and I'm just like,
not trying to trick you.
I can't do anything with
Giving
this information. I have to
information.
Accept it because I haven't prepared.
I'm going to invite Tony Juan Martín on this podcast so he can tell us the news and hopefully maybe even the sources. That is going to be a promise of mine. I'm going to reach out to him. Tony, si me escuchas.
I'd love to have
him
on the pod.
We've only ever met once.
I'd love to have him on the pod. But if he's going to come and say, listen, he's going to repeat the article in Sport, and these are my sources, it's the same thing.
Tony doesn't work for Sport. This is what's surprising me. So the Sport is just taking what Tony has put out. He works for...
Right, so it's not even a Turkish source. It's just Tony.
Well, maybe Tony's source is Turkish. Let's get him on the pod. I
Sure.
will. It's my promise to
Sure.
you and all the Madridista listeners.
I just wanted to say one thing.
Oh, I was just gonna say some breaking news, but go on.
Breaking news from who? Mundo Deportivo?
You show no respect to our colleagues.
I did want to say one thing, because I don't think you really check comments, and I don't really either, but I ventured in YouTube section on the last 3 podcasts we did.
Okay.
A lot of people were angry about how you were dissing the Arda Güler to Real Madrid transfer, it seemed. And I
really wasn't.
I'm coming to your defense, okay?
Because thanks.
When I was reading all the comments, it was like, oh, Diego has a problem with this Arda Güler transfer to Real Madrid. He didn't have a problem with it. He's trying to find holes with it, all this stuff that he didn't care about if he signed for Barca. And I just want to say that if you guys actually listen to the words that Diego said and not have selective hearing, and I love you all, Diego literally said in that podcast, he's playing devil's advocate. He is just trying to bring a different perspective for the sake of the debate. And he's not trying to poke holes. He's just trying to bring forward, if a Barcelona fan had issues with this, maybe these are the reasons. He is not saying that this is what he's not trying to rip the transfer. It's just for the sake of the debate. That's all you need to guys understand sometimes. That's all. So like sometimes you guys come in like as soon as, you know what's funny? The Churro segment is actually pretty popular now.
Good.
With respect to the Managing Madrid, I think it's, if you look at the numbers, like and here's my theory why. And because it's the segment that people complain the most, it's also the segment that people consume the most. And here's my theory why. It's because you have much more of a YouTube personality than I do. I'm more of the kind of boring, monotonous, like nerdy podcaster, and you're kind of like the ones who knows how YouTubers act. And so I think it's more clickable and more controversial, and that's why it succeeds. And this, like, I was telling you off air, like, one of our loyal listeners, Angelo Valdez, has like really blown up. Shout out Angelo if you're listening to this. Good, really good chance you are. Yes. He's just blown up because he has this like personality that I can never have online, which is like controversial takes and don't care what anyone thinks about it, and bang, 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 take it or leave it, and just that stuff explodes, right? And I'm not really like that, so that's why like it's going to be slower growth for people like me. But it's just funny because every time a Churros podcast is uploaded, I just know that people see the thumbnail, and before they sit down to press play, they go into the shed and bring their pitchfork first. Like, all right, yes. Diego dropped a new video. Here's the pitchfork. Let's go sit down. And then they're writing all the time. So, he said this.
Yeah. Let's get him, folks.
It's great for the algorithm, though. So continue to tweet, make your angry comments. It's hilarious.
Good. Oh, the people making it. Yeah, I've stopped visiting your YouTube comments section. From time to time, I kind of dabble just to have a look, and then I get, I run back out. Sometimes I reply. It's quite funny when I start replying. Sometimes I'm in a funny mood, and I'm like, let me fuck with these guys a little bit more. But, well, that's good. And I need to start following Angelo as well. Because that's very impressive. You told me the story on him and how he blew up. But yeah, absolutely. I did that from a devil's advocate point of view. And Kiyan, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I quite often admit when I'm jealous that Madrid made, X or Y signing and that you guys get X or Y player, and always followed by the words of, let's just hope that things don't work out. So the breaking news that I had is that Marca has just reported that, and he must be running late, that Kylian Mbappe is going live for an exclusive interview on NCI Sports.
Okay.
At 8:15.
Isn't that 10 minutes ago?
That's why I said it looks like he's running late. But it looks like they're expecting some statements from.
How do I watch? Can we watch it online? Can we like watch it online and react to it in real time?
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Like share screen.
Yeah.
I have like a decent grasp on French. I could translate for us.
Yeah? Okay, great. Yeah. Let me see. And see, live stream. I don't even know what it is. Which is this back in? Is he back in France or is he still in Cameroon?
No one knows where he is. I remember that day when they said that he was having an emergency meeting with PSG. Meanwhile, he's like in Miami with Vinicius.
That's funny. Well, I'll let you know if I find it. I'll pass it to you. But in the meantime, what else you got, buddy? You got anything good? Anything juicy?
I need more Real Madrid headlines for the podcast. We only talked about Güler. Is there anything else Real Madrid that's on your mind? There's not much Real Madrid content We recorded a Mbappe podcast earlier today, which I haven't published yet. It was with Jonathan Johnson, PSG correspondent.
Jonathan Johnson.
Yeah.
What a name.
JJ.
John Johnson.
I did that. There's not much. I mean, a couple training sessions for Real Madrid in the can now.
Are you already following it? Like, are you reporting on the training sessions? And
reporting is generous. It's like, oh, these players, Antonio Pintus has put these guys through a grueling physical training session. Here is Arda Güler in the Real Madrid kit. That's about it. There's nothing else.
I think I got it, man.
Yeah?
I think it is a Cameroonian news station. Hold on, let me see.
I love that. I love that he's given them the exclusive.
Can you imagine if he announces it now in Cameroon?
The decision.
Have you seen the decision? Hey, have you seen how he's like rolling his entourage and stuff? How he's cruising through the country?
Yeah, I saw that. Which brings me to another point I forgot to bring up with you.
What?
Someone on Managing Madrid actually, we did a live call, and someone unmuted their microphone to ask their question. Can't remember their name.
Mm-hmm.
And they brought up the Churros segment where you were critical of Madridistas for being shameless about Mbappe rejecting us, and we still wanted him. And brought up this parallel that I completely forgot about as a rebuttal. You know, like when you're in your bed at night, you're like, oh, fuck, I should have said this.
Bet that happens to you a lot, huh?
Every day. The fact that Griezmann did the same thing to you guys with his decision video, and then a year later you signed him.
Yeah, but we didn't want him. Nobody was happy that he came.
It doesn't matter.
Like genuinely, that everybody was like, why is this happening? We don't want to spend 120 million on this guy. This is a bad thing. Bartomeu, get the fuck out of here, please. Leave. You're doing things the wrong way. And here it is. What's going on?
Like he's like literally the video is playing right now, or you just have, what do you have?
Wait,
send me the link and I can share it.
This is a promotion for the interview.
No.
Yeah, they're very late. I don't think we're gonna be able to see it. That was just a promotional video. They're announcing.
Like
I'll show you. I mean, I got this right now. Sending it to you through the chat. If you can figure out where to go from there.
We should start doing YouTube lives, I think.
A YouTube live would be good, yeah.
Okay,
we could get people asking questions.
Yeah, I feel like it would be. I feel like it would be good for this segment. If that's something you guys are interested, let us know. This thing is not loading.
Okay. Well,
is it loading for you?
No, these are. Look, I'm getting it from here, from goal.com. They're saying if you want to watch the Mbappe interview, follow these links, but they're not.
And you know what? I can't get
goal.com
in Canada.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's blocked for whatever reason. Not that I would visit that website anyway, but
goal.com, why?
I don't know. Is there anything there that's interesting?
No, quite honestly. I don't know. They're like sending me around in a loop. It's like, click on this link, click on this link, click on this link. More details, click on this link. I will say this. Look, I'll say something about PSG. I'm very annoyed that Lucho has signed on to PSG. We've never talked about that. Luis Enrique going to QSG.
You're happy about that? Is that what you said?
No, I said I'm annoyed.
Oh, you're annoyed. Yeah.
I'm actually fearful because with Lucho, I think they're going to be a lot better. Like he really instills discipline in his players, and he doesn't marry with anyone. You know, Lucho left freaking Neymar and Messi on the bench and Suarez at that time. So I think they're gonna be turned into a serious team.
Be interesting to see what he does there.
Yeah.
I also like on the off chance, I mean, that Mbappe does leave them. I feel like that's actually good for him. Like it's like a fresh start, clean
I'll
slate.
tell you right now, he'll want it. I'm sure.
And then like he'll clean slate. He gets to work with Ocampos to sign the players he wants, and they work together. And like I feel like he thrives with a team that kind of that can punch above their weight. Although he obviously thrives with stars too, as we saw with MSN. So it's not like, I'm sure he would prefer to have the best players in the world. But I feel like
knowing the situation,
I agree with you in that I think he will do good things there.
And knowing the situation, he's like, I don't need that, unsatisfied players that don't want to be here on my team. I mean, it could cost him, the coach will want to count on the players that do want to be there. And I mean, it's written in the stars. Even like the new arrivals to QSG are criticizing Mbappe, Leonardo, Al-Khelaifi, everybody's like just ganging in ganging on him, ganging up on him. That's what I was going to say. And, so I'm expecting him to announce his departure, but look, it's 8:33, and it was supposed to start at 8:15, and these links aren't working either, bud. So unless the interview has started, let me see, because Marca are doing a play-by-play report. No new status on the thread on marca.com. So I don't know, man. Should we call it a day?
I think so. And I guess after recording, I'll see if I can find the link. And I don't even know. I still don't even really know about this. But
about what?
Just this live thing. Like this is obviously news to me because you just put it. Yeah. But yeah, that's enough for today. I think this was surprisingly long. That's what she said for a podcast. We had no idea what we were going to talk about. We were just riffing as we always do, but there really was not much news to discuss today. So I'm proud of us for sticking it out.
Okay, listen, Porta has just come out with a bunch of statements.
Well, you want to open a can of worms now?
This is an actual can of worms. Okay. So I haven't seen, I don't know what this is for, but now the front page of marca.com is a picture of Laporta quoting him saying, "We are now candidates for the Champions League." And this one you'll love. Here's your headline. "We have a better team than Real Madrid. Individually, and we are better by some margin than our closest rival."
Oh, some margin. Yeah, no pressure at all. I'm almost surprised where like why
does that make you laugh so much? We have a better team than Madrid. We are the champions. Are you going to show some respect? We kicked your ass with 14 points.
Well,
why is that laughable?
I feel like he's saying the way you worded it was like for next year, like our team is better. Margin, like I guess I'm always surprised when teams feel the need to mention the other team. Like,
well, he's being asked
why
Kiyan,
would it be so
Kiyan,
hard for
he's
Laporta?
being asked this. Come on, you should know this. He's answering questions here. They're asking him about Real Madrid, how the team compares.
You're doing that thing right now where you just made something up and I have to believe it. How do you know that was the question? You just spread this headline right now. We don't even know what the question was.
I don't, but we're so often we jump on the person talking like and blame him for coming up with these kinds of statements. More often than not, it's the journalists that are asking about these kind of topics. You know that.
Here's a way to answer it then. If somebody asked you, Real Madrid Barca, you could have just said, "We believe in our squad. We have a great squad."
Well,
we're better than Real Madrid. Our squad is better by some margin. Florentino would never. Florentino would never.
Florentino never comes out. The guy never talks. Does he? Like
It's
he just
called
sits.
wisdom.
It's called
wisdom and
it's
silence.
called the Dracula that is in his cave, sitting inside, laying inside his coffin
He's too
until
pure
until
this
the
kind of
sun
stuff.
until the sun disappears and night falls, and then it's out comes Florentino Perez.
By the way, I don't like when Real Madrid figures talk like this too. I'll never forget, like, there a few years ago, one of the Clásicos we lost. Like before the Clásico, Sergio Ramos said we're gonna beat Barca, and I think he even mentioned the score or something. I can't remember exactly what he said, and I was like, just stop, just stop talking, just don't say anything, just talk on the field. Too much talking. It's not that hard to just zip it. Like we can talk because we're on YouTube and no one we're not going out and having to like actually do things as club representatives. But like when you're at that level, just say less. Don't say anything ideally. But if you're gonna talk, just keep it nice and smooth and simple. Be honest, but don't stir the pot. Don't put pressure on yourself. Just zip it. Now there's pressure. Now like oh, Xavi's like, oh, our squad is better. That means I have to go do this, that. And if it doesn't, like everyone's gonna bring back this quote and make fun of me. Remember when Messi promised the Camp Nou Champions League titles on the microphone? Now every single time Barca get eliminated, that video goes viral, and it has.
No, he said we want to bring that Copa Tan Linda back. He wasn't like we're winning the Champions League. He says, "Esa Copa Tan Linda, we want to bring it back again." There's nothing wrong with saying any of this. Nothing
the only
wrong.
Player who's allowed to talk trash is Michael Jordan. No one else can back it up the way he did.
So he's asked about Arda Güler, in case you want to know. He talks about we had to use common sense. We had an agreement with the club and a player for 17.5 million, his buyout clause. But then Madrid came in and paid the amounts that they deemed necessary, and we were not willing to, go into a bidding war. And he talks about Tebas, talks about the Negreira case, Oriol Romeo, and Dembele and Messi.
So this live Mbappe live thing,
it's not happening, huh?
Well, it is the link that you had.
Okay.
It's just the link is not working. So I don't know what's going on.
Well, if you go into gold.com, oh, you said it doesn't open there. Well, yeah.
And this is hard to find when Arantxa Rodriguez puts out a tweet asking if anyone can find the link, which is what she did. And then the replies to that tweet are this link that you sent in the chat, which still doesn't work.
Okay.
It would be funny if he's like doing this broadcast and he thinks he's live, but no one's watching it because the link doesn't work and he's talking. No one is like informed. He's just
dropping bombs.
Yeah. He just shows up to PSG training like nothing happened after he thinks he's publicly rejected Real Madrid.
He's like, I've decided to sign for Cádiz. That is right. You heard correct. I have decided that I want to make it a mission to bring that humble club from the south of Spain to the highest heights. All right, man. I think once we start talking about Mbappe to Cádiz, it means it's time to cut.
No, one hypothetical question for you, because we were talking about Saudi money and like it would be a game changer if someone like in his prime, a star in his prime went there. That would be the biggest game changer. You see these figures like Benzema at the age of 33 getting 100 million a year, or it's a 200 million, I can't remember. Kante, some of these other players who are not superstars but going there. How much would come relative to those figures? How much would Mbappe be worth to sign right now in his mid-20s
Wow.
And would that figure be too much? Like, would that figure Saudi be like, we can't afford this? Even Saudi, like,
Mm.
how much do you think it would take? What would his salary be in Saudi Arabia for 1 year?
It would have to be half a billy. No?
So my first question is, would Saudi do that? And if they would Mbappe be crazy to say no to that?
Yes. No, no, no. It would, it would, that would be his final, like, strand of dignity. That would be his chance to show the world, no, no, I still have some dignity, some self dignity, some self pride, some sense of, you know, competitiveness and so dignity left in me. Because I think if he would go for that money, we talked about it with Haaland as well, this hypothetical case of how much he would earn. Because again, it was reported that Messi was going to get like between either it was some said 400, then 600 was mentioned that he was getting offered.
That's why I think maybe it would be more than half a billy.
Maybe, yeah, a billy.
I mean, like, when you're talking a figure like that, I mean, it's already infinite money. When you're talking like that kind of figure, it is truly infinite money. Which, like, you could, I don't know. Would he genuinely? I don't think I would blame him for turning that down.
You said that, but for me, it would just be a sign that, wow, we're truly heading in the wrong direction, really, really, really fast.
What if he took that money and he opened up like 100 schools? He can already do that, probably.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say.
All right, we're done, man. I don't know what I'm
Please,
saying anymore.
please.
I'm just
Exactly.
delirious.
Thank you.
The
heat, my boy, it's getting to you. It's getting
well,
to me too.
we're gonna be back later this week over on patreon.com/churros y tácticas. That's where it gets really weird. So if you want to partake on that, go and sign up, please. Oh my God, the Mbappe link is working.
Oh my God.
A video just started playing. No,
yeah, but it's just a promo video.
It is a promo video. Yeah, you're right. But at least now I know, like, I can just keep this link open and then maybe eventually it'll start, which that wasn't the case before. All right, cool. Thanks, Diego.
Thanks, buddy.
Catch you later. Peace out.
Ciao.